When they say that war is hell, it is. It is.
Alright, so if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you were born.
Okay, my name is Freddie Carter. I was born in Chicago, and I stayed there until I was 5. Then my parents moved to Rockford, and I've been in Rockford all my life.
With Freddie and his loving family now moved to the Rockford area, this will be the location he spends his time before and after the war.
We had a small, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4-room house, but we were so close together. We just knitted together, and we loved each other. My parents taught us to always love your sister and brother, and everybody went to school, and it was nice and peaceful, nice and peaceful. Went to Auburn High School. I graduated out of Auburn High School. My class was the first freshman class at Auburn, because Auburn's a brand new school. So they was going to try something new and have a freshman class there. And I was in that freshman class. And coming from a junior high to a high school like that, it was overwhelming. It was huge, and it was different. You grew up fast. You grew up fast. And I kind of like Auburn. I kind of liked it. And after I graduated from Auburn High School, I was out a year before I got drafted into the service. And I got drafted in 1967, July 23rd. And I stayed into July 25th, 69. So coming up, you really didn't watch the news that much. And at the time, the civil rights movement was in. And the Vietnam War kind of took the back seat. It was more focused on the civil rights instead of the Vietnam War. Then after I got drafted, and that's when it came to the forefront. And I learned a lot during my basic training about the Vietnam War. And it didn't really hit home until I got my final orders to go. And I still didn't know what I was getting into. Yeah, but in civilian life, it wasn't that much. Number one, I was scared because I never left home before. Never left home. And that letter, on the letterhead, it says, "Greetings. Uncle Sam would like your service." I'm like, oh, what is this? And at that time, when you turned 18, you had to register at the post office. If you didn't register, you can get in trouble. So I registered, but I had no idea I was going to get drafted. And I got that letter. I think my mom took it harder than me. She was doing more crying than anybody. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to the Army. And it was something different. All I heard was yelling. They degrade you. I mean, you wasn't I have to say, you really wasn't a human being. They just tore you down. I mean, and later on, I found out why. They were trying to get the civilian out of you. They wanted to tear you down and build you up the way they want you. And I understood that because gradually we had 8 weeks of basic training, and I had an advantage because when I went to Auburn High School, I was in ROTC, and I knew all about the Army. rules, regulations, I knew it all. And once I got in, I was in a week, and I was promoted to the thing they call an ADI. That was an acting drill sergeant, because I knew everything. I already knew everything. Everybody in my platoon, they didn't know nothing. They didn't know how to stand at attention. They couldn't turn left, face, right. I knew everything. And that's why I was promoted to the acting drill instructor. And my drill sergeant, he loved it, because that was less things that he had to do, because I filled in the blanks. When he wasn't there, he told everybody, when I'm not here, you listen to this man here, Sergeant Carter. Man, my chest really got big. I'm a sergeant there. And it made basic training a little easier for me. Yeah. Every day, you was up at 5, and they give you 1 hour to shower, shave, clean the barracks, and you fall in formation by 6. Then you had to march down to the mess hall for chow. And once you marched down, you wasn't lollygagging around. You had to stand at attention, and the line was real long. And you stand up at ease, and before you can move up one spot to go in the line, you had to come to attention, take one step, go back to at ease, come to attention, and that was bad. And if you didn't do it, you automatically got 10 push-ups. Got to hit down and said, put your face in the ground. Then after about 8 o'clock, then we would start our training. And our first training would be PT, physical training. And it was very rigorous. I mean, it was tough. I was down in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. It was hot, super hot. And each day we had different training, but every day we had close order drill. That means marching. We had a march, 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 march. So each day was a different set of training. We had hand-to-hand combat for a couple of hours. After having hand-to-hand combat, it graduated to rifle PT. Rifle PT was not easy. You had to do PT with a rifle over your head, and it was very, very, very vigorous. And as time went on, in the evening, we would quit around 4, and we had retreat. And after 4, we had to do a lot of studying. And after you do a lot of studying, we got to clean the barracks again, make sure they were spotless. 9 o'clock, lights are out. I mean, lights are out. And at night, you hear a lot of sniffling, a lot of guys sniffling, because they've never been left home before. And that's just the way it was. You're looking at young kids, 18, 19 years old, and that was what we had every day. You went to bed because you know you had to get up. I think the worst training we had when we went to the infiltration course, that we had to crawl with our rifle, and they fired live ammo about a foot over your head. They were teaching you how to crawl under fire. And the course was all muddy, had holes, had to crawl in and out. And after that infiltration course, then you go back to the barracks, your rifle's all muddy. You're all muddy. And the first thing come out of his mouth was, in 30 minutes, we got inspection. You got to clean yourself up, get all the mud off of you. You got to clean all the mud out of your rifle. You got to make sure it's clean. And if it wasn't clean, you stay up all night cleaning your rifle. It was really more mental than anything else. They were trying to make you strong in the mind. And they did some pretty rigorous stuff. I graduated. I went to, after basic training, I went to Fort Sam Houston. I had to stay there for 8 weeks, and I had to go to medical training. And after I got medical training, we got orders. You're outside, and he's calling your name off and letting you know you're going to Vietnam. We got orders. And after I got a 30-day leave of absence, I had to fly out to Oakland, California. We got our orders to go to Vietnam. We had a wild party, and we just tore the barracks up. We did everything we wanted to do. We drank, and we climbed each other's back and each other piggyback rides. And the drill sergeants, they were nowhere to be found. And our motto was, "Oh, what they gonna do to us? Send us to Vietnam?" And we made a game out of it. Kind of got to you. Your drill sergeant, he would say, "You're going to Vietnam, and half of you not coming back alive." And that's kind of scary. And now you're wondering, who? Is it going to be me, him, or what? But what it was a reality check. He was just letting us know where we're going is not a vacation. My first day in South Vietnam, I landed in Long Binh at night. And I'll never forget, it was pitch black, and we got off the plane, and we had to march over to this hooch, and way off the distance, you can hear a little noise like boom, boom, and you'll see flashes. And we didn't know what they were. Later on, we knew that was just big guns firing for support of the soldiers that are out there. And you really didn't get no sleep. You're scared. You didn't know what was going on. I was a medic. I was trained to be a medic. And in Long Binh, we had to sit around for about 3 days wondering where you're going. With me being a medic, I didn't know which infantry I was going to, or was I going to a hospital. I was hoping that I'll go to a hospital, and when my name was called, well, first they called the division, 25th Infantry Division. You know, everybody let out a big groan, "Oh, 25th. And they called names out, and they called my name. And when they said Freddie Carter, 2 guys, it was me and another guy, said, "Here, Sergeant." And the sergeant thought we was playing games, but we weren't. This other guy, he was a Caucasian kid. His name was Freddie Carter. So the sergeant go, "Freddie B. Carter," and we both raised our hand. "Here, Sergeant." He had a B in his name. Now the drill sergeant, he's mad because he really think we were playing games. And we both had the same name. And finally he says, "Freddie B. Carter. Last Social Security number 6566, what was mine." And I raised my hand. And he was, I can't say what he said about me getting on the truck. He said, "Get your so-and-so on the truck." That was my last name, and I went to the 25th Infantry Division. And once I got to the division, I was in base camp, and they said, "Well, you're going to be attached to an infantry unit." Now, mind you, I'm a medic. I didn't have any infantry training. All I was trained for is how to take care of the wounded soldiers under fire, this, that, and the other, but I didn't know the justice of what you do out in the field. And so I was in base camp, I had to say maybe a week until the medic in 3rd Platoon was killed. So I had to go out. And after I go out, that's my first day out, I went out. It was on my mother's birthday, never forget it. That was my mother's birthday, I went out, my first day. And it was scary. It was scary, especially when the MP opened up that gate, and I looked back, and he was closing it, and all I could see in front of me was rubber plantation and jungle. So I knew I was in the stuff. It wasn't like every day. I had to say maybe once every 2 weeks. It all depend on where we were at. Because every 4th night I had to go on ambush patrol, and we had to set up ambush patrol, and we had to go with our intelligence. The intelligence might say there's a battalion of VC, and they give us coordinates. We had to go in and check it out. That's why I say S&D. And if it was there, we had to go out there and search and find them. Not necessarily find them and kill them, but find them and see if they had any weapons or food where we could destroy. And we didn't fight every day, because I fought mostly the Viet Cong. He would not fight a sustained fight. He would hit you, and this firefight might last 10 minutes, and he's gone. He's gone. He liked to try to wound you or kill as much as he can in a few minutes. because he didn't have no sustained power, because we had a lot of power. And the only time we had a long drawn out battle if we ran into a bunker complex. And we did that quite often. That was pretty rough. Guys did smoke marijuana. As a matter of fact, the guys were sitting around, they were smoking one night, you know, and they were supposed to go on ambush patrol. And I told my platoon, sir, I ain't going. That's why I said, them guys been smoking marijuana. It's all on their clothes. If I can smell it, Charlie can smell it. We're in this jungle laying there, he can smell it. And I wouldn't go. I ain't going. And I had one guy smoking, he was pretty high, and we got hit with a mortar attack. And we get hit with a mortar attack, you either crawl underneath the PC or dive in. No, he didn't. Mortar attack, mortar hit him. He got zapped pretty good. He wasn't. In my platoon, only time the guys really got high, I would say, is when we came into base camp. Out there in the field, you know, I said, hey, you got to keep your faculties together, you know. I'm not going out there because number one, it's stupid. Because if you smoke it, Charlie can smell it. But then again, the Vietnamese, they use it regularly. And I know you've seen a small joint, you know. They don't have a small one. They have it's like a cigar. I mean, they pack it. And Mama San, they would just smoke it. And I mean, it'd be a big one. And they say, oh, that's betel nut. I said, okay, betel nut. But as far as only drug use I really saw was, I saw a little marijuana use in base camp. As a matter of fact, in base camp, me and my other buddy, his name was Sergeant Whittle. We would not stay we call it a hooch. We would not stay in the hooch with the whole platoon because it was partying. And we would stay in another hooch because I didn't like the smell of marijuana, so I would stay in, me and Tom, we play in another hooch, and we would stay in half the night playing Crazy 8. It was a card game we play. But these guys are here, they partying. You know, that's what they do. That's what they do. It was not, I ain't gonna say that drug use was, I'm talking about my unit now. I don't know about the other units. It was not a problem where they couldn't function. Because my platoon, 3rd platoon, we were pretty tough guys. We took care of business. But when we go into base camp, I guess they have to let off a little steam. They smoke a doobie. That's what they did. I didn't do it. My base camp was called Dao Tang. That's where we operated at, Dao Tang. And we would do our S&D there. And if we get too far east, we had to pull in a place called Tay Ninh to stay overnight. It was another American base there. Tay Ninh was bigger than Dao Tang. And we used to pull in there instead of trying to make it all the way back. We go to Tay Ninh. Tay Ninh was a pretty good size, and we used to get a lot of supplies from Tay Ninh. From Tay Ninh all the way down to Dao Tang. And after we left Tay Ninh, we went to a place called Cu Chi. Cu Chi was really tough because Cu Chi was known for their tunnels. They had miles and miles of tunnels. That was Cu Chi was all about. Because you go out there, you hit Charlie or whatever, and he disappears. He would disappear. I'm out there in Vietnam, I walked through the rice paddies of South Vietnam, I got trench foot. So I got trench foot because in the rice paddies, there's all kinds of animal feces, human feces in the rice paddy to fertilize their rice. You had to walk in that because you can't walk on the dikes. You've seen the rice paddy, they got dikes. You can't walk on those because Charlie will booby trap those. And like I told you, when I first went there, I was the type of guy, I wanted to be nice and clean all the time. And then one day it was an ambush patrol, and it was raining, and I had my poncho on, plus I'm walking on the dike, and everybody else walking in the water. My platoon sergeant said, hey, doc, yeah. You like those legs? Like, I'm thinking about a girl or something. What, your legs? I said, yeah. He said, get off that dike or you won't have them. Really? He said, yeah. He said, Charlie always put mines on those dikes there, blow your legs off. I jumped right off that dike, right into the water. Here I am, ankle deep in this water and the rice paddies and all this animal feces and floating around. I'm walking in this. I walk in there every day, you know. And in the Army, I had to make sure all my men had dry socks. We had anything else, we had dry socks. You gotta change your socks, because if you don't, you get blisters in your feet, and you travel on your feet. Ain't nobody carrying your butt around. It was Good Friday. I'll never forget that. It was Good Friday. And we got hit pretty good that day at Good Friday. And as a matter of fact, we was going in and had this bunker complex, and it was pretty fortified. We went in and we had to pull back, and the platoon leader, I say my platoon sergeant, he told us to pull back. So when we were pulling back, a guy in front of me was hit. He went down. So I crawled over to him, and I asked him where he was hit. He said, I'm hit in the leg. No, it was in the arm. He was hit in the arm. And I pulled his uniform back, and I could see a big hole there. I could see bone, whatever. And I couldn't patch him up because we was on fire. So I told him, I said, push with your leg, and I'm gonna pull you with your other arm. So he dug his foot in and was pushing back, and as he was pushing back, they were shooting. He said, oh, they got me again, shot me in the leg. So I'm saying, I was like, oh man. So I'm trying to pull him out of line of fire, and all of a sudden I heard pop, pop again, got me another leg. And it kind of dawned on me, they were trying to shoot me, because they already got him, he was down there, and I'm trying to get him out of there, and I'm like, wow, what the heck? We both sitting there. Only thing I did, I checked my rifle, made sure I had a new clip in, and I was the type of person, I never used my rifle on automatic, because I was an expert, I could shoot. I never would put on automatic. But this particular time, I put on automatic, and I knew where the fire was coming from out of that bunker. And all I did, I just emptied my rifle right in that bunker. I don't know if I hit anybody. I don't think I hit anybody. I just hit that area. And after I emptied it, I just grabbed him. I grabbed him by his trousers in front, and I just grabbed him. I just took off dragging him. I just drug him, and I got from here. I think I drug him about 10 or 15 yards, and a couple of my buddies were there to help out, and I was like, yeah. So I got him back, cut his shirt off. I'm looking at bones sticking out on his shoulder. I cleaned that up. I wrapped that up real good. Cut his fatigue off on his leg. Both legs were shot. And it was pretty mangled up pretty good. So I got that cleaned up and got him out of there. And we finally got him out. And we pulled back, and we called in airstrikes. After we called in airstrikes, it's a beautiful sight to see them planes coming. It was coming out of the east, and I can hear the pilot talking to my platoon leader, and he was talking about what kind of ordnance he was bringing. He said, I'll be in there in 05. You can see when he let those 500-pound bombs go, you can see them release. And we was hunkered down, and man, when they hit the ground, all that shock wave from the bombs goes through your body, and all the shrapnel that's hitting the back of the PC, just bang, bang, bang. And after that, they softened them up. We went back in. After we went back in, heard this loud scream. It was a loud scream. Didn't know what it was. Then what happened, this guy named Sergeant Nelson, he was in front and got hit with an RPG. He just blew his leg off at the hip and brought him back to me, you know. And I had him maintain my own composure, but I'm like, what am I gonna do? His leg's blown off at the hip. So I go in my medical bag, and I had this huge bandage. I mean, it was huge. I cut off his fatigued, and put that bandage on there, and gave him morphine, and he was and put in we didn't have blood plasma. We had this stuff called Dextron. I put an IV in after I got an IV in him, and the dust off came in. A dust off is the medical bag, a helicopter, and hooked that up and flew him off. Then we got word later he died en route to the hospital. He was a good guy, but to this day I could see his leg. It's gone. It was gone. Before I left and going to the country, I had a conversation with my pastor. I told him I was going, you know, I need some spiritual guidance. And he told me two things. He said, number one, I don't want you to be a hero. Don't go in there and be a hero. Yes, sir. He said, number two, I want you to treat those people right. Yes, sir. But I'm confused, you know. I'm going over there. How do I treat the enemy right, you know? And we would go through a village, search it out, or what have you, and they didn't have any medical like we have. And I would see the kids, Mama San, even Papa San, he might have been a goop, I don't know. And I would clean their wounds. I would clean their wounds up, you know, and peroxide in there, clean it all out, put a Band-Aid on here, this and that and other. And my name, everybody called me Doc. That's what they call him, a Doc. Hey, Doc. And every time we would put road security. When we put road security, we had to clear the road of mines and let the convoy come through to bring supplies. And the Vietnamese come out of the village, they couldn't come out until 7 o'clock. If they come out before 7 o'clock, we could shoot. So when 7 o'clock come, here they come. They don't know their bicycles. And they would come off the side of the road, and I would help them out and give them sea rations and that. The Vietnamese people, they treated me nice. They treated me nice. I was already told to treat people nice because they couldn't help it, the war was going on. And I treated them so nice. This one kid, he came up to me and he says to me, he said, Doc, yeah. He said, no, go to Train Bang. Train Bang was pretty bad. I was in a pretty bad place. I said, Train Bang? I said, why? He said, Buku VC. Buku VC, you no go. You no go, Doc. I said, oh, okay. So I went to my company command and told him. I said, hey, Captain Allison, I said, this kid just told me, he said a lot. He said, Buku VC down the Train Bang. He goes, I know, we got intelligence about that a couple of days ago, and that's where we're going tomorrow. And we had to go down to Train Bang. Train Bang was a village where the Viet Cong take their R&R. And not only they take their R&R, they knew we had to go through Train Bang to get the Cu Chi. And to go to Train Bang, that was an opportunity for just to tear us up. And we call it a meat grinder, 'cause it was bad. And like that kid told me, don't go to Train Bang. There was a lot of them down there. It was a lot. We got chewed up pretty good, but we kicked their butt. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But we made it through old Train Bang. Viet Cong, he's a pretty good fighter. He had a lot of tricks up his sleeves. He was a great foe. I mean, he didn't have much equipment like we did, but what he had, he put it to good use. Because that's why when we ate our sea ration out there in the field, you always buried them. The can, you always bury your can, crush them, because he'd take that one small can and he could make a bomb out of there. It might not kill you, but it'll blow your foot off. He was that good in making stuff. He would make claymores out of any and everything, nails and glass, and put it side of the road, and we walk down, he'll blow it. It might not kill you, but you get a lot of glass in you. It feel pretty bad. we had to go online for a body count. And we got body count, and the body count we had was 120 Viet Cong we had killed. And next thing I know, they bought this thing called it's a crane. It got 3 hooks down there, and I'm looking at this crane's bringing this big bulldozer out there. He lands, and he digs a big hole, this big bulldozer, just dug it in. All those bodies we had, we just threw them in there, mass grave. Threw them all in there. Mass grave. I didn't have to do it. I was mad. That was other guys. I had to take care of it. And it was pretty bad. It was hot, and the body was starting to smell pretty good. You know, we couldn't wait to get them in there. So after we dumped them all in there, and that big bulldozer, you know, put dirt over them, and that's what we did. They weren't buried all the way. You know, that was some kind of those arms and legs still sticking up or whatever, and that's covered up. And we left on our S&D. We left, and we couldn't find any more. We came back 2 days later. It was an awful smell. Awful. That's why the worst smell you can smell is a decomposed body. It was horrible. It was horrific. You know, I was just smelled pretty bad. You know, you don't get used to that smell. But if it came now, I'll know what it is. I know what it is. My biggest fear was dead people. Growing as a kid, I didn't like to go to funerals. I'm afraid of dead people. And I'm saying to myself, how am I going to handle this? I'm going, that guy's dead. And one night we had 3 GIs that were killed, but we couldn't fly them out because we had harassment fire, and we couldn't get a chopper in. That night, I had to take care of the dead. You know, it didn't bother me at all. I had to sleep with them. I had to take all 3, put a poncho over them, and it didn't bother me. You know, I still say that was God that took that fear out of me. And later on, when we could fly them out, load them up on a chopper, and away it went. They didn't bother me no more. And to this day, I don't. You know, you're like, why you want to fear the dead? They can't do nothing with it. It's just a mental thing. But I got over that real quick. Real quick. Yeah, but I will say this. It's sad to see a GI laying there, and you go through his pockets, and you're taking out his personal effects and laying them on his chest, like pictures, other stuff, and he's laying there, and it's really sad, you know. I didn't know their family, but I knew him, you know. It was like, man, this morning we was talking jive and having fun, you know. That evening, now he's dead. Kind of mess with you, you know, kind of mess with you. That's why we had I got the shirt that said Band of Brothers. We was tight, you know, we had to be tight, man. That's my bro there, you know, because we didn't know who's gonna get it. But we was tight, because all we had was each other. We didn't have no girlfriends, no wives, or nothing, just us, and there was no black, was no white, wasn't no Mexicans. We were just one. And that's why we call it the world. The world did not understand us. We had our own world. We made our own fun. And we had to make our own fun with laughter because we had a lot of sorrow, a lot of death. And it tears you up. You know, this guy, he's not going home. I got my buddy Walker. We was like twins. Walker was killed 4 months after I got in there. We went through basics together. Every time you saw Walker, you saw me. We was together. Then I got hurt in the country. He was killed. man, I went on the computer and I finally dug up what happened to him. And right now I got it home on my wall. Julius Walker. He died April 4th. And what I liked about it, it said his body was recovered, so it brought the body back. And he died, they said suffocation. What it was, he drowned. He drowned. Because at the time, him and I used to tease each other. I couldn't swim. He couldn't either. And we used to tease each other, hey man, if we get out together, who gonna save each other? I don't know. We just make a big joke out of it. And he dies. And right now I got his plaque up on my wall. Julius Walker. That's my boy. Man. Gonna miss that old boy. That was then. You know, life moves on. And I brought back some film that I took 50 millimeter. They ain't had no sound, got pictures. And I remember I was showing my daughter this one day. She was about 7 or 8 years old. And she's sitting there. And she saw me on this film. She started crying. She goes, Daddy, I didn't know you was in Vietnam. I said, yeah. And she was crying. She comes over and I said, oh, baby, it's all right. Dad's here, you know. And I treasure that films I got. I treasure them, you know. And I look at them all the time. All the time. Here I am, 19 years old. No mustache, no beard. This young kid. That was good.
This is my second year going into the Harlem Veteran Project. It has been such an honor to be able to be a part of this program and to be able to do what we're actually doing. When I got into the Harlem Veteran Project last year, I was very nervous. I was very nerve-wracked as I really didn't know what to expect, and I knew it required a dedicated amount of work. Coming into my second year, I knew what to expect, and with Freddie Carter being in Vietnam, I really wanted to capture what it was like to be in the Vietnam War. And through the eyes of Freddie Carter and his storytelling, I was able to capture what I believe to be his legacy in the Vietnam War. Yeah, because in the first year of the Harlem Veteran Project, my friends Austin Lewis and Blake Gribble suggested to me that I should take this class, and I took it, and I was completely nervous. I was actually considering dropping out of class, thinking I wasn't able to do it, and this is where I have to thank them too, because that night when I told them I was planning on it, they completely convinced me to just give it a shot, and I have never been more thankful than to listen and to actually be able to experience this for for junior and senior year. This being my last year, I am very grateful this is how I end it, and this is how my Harlem days end. Thank you, Freddie Carter, for being able to tell me your story. It has meant so much to me to be able to make it to something that other people can experience. When I met you at the Black History Month event for actual veterans. It was an honor to meet you and be able to show you what I'm taking from your story and what I'm developing from it. And I couldn't thank you enough for a more powerful and more genuine story. So thank you.